Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
Right now, Lithia Ford of Boise is buying used vehicles. How much you want for the SUV?
I don't know.
Well, Lithia Ford will give you more than that.
How much more?
More than you think.
I'm not thinking anything.
I'm thinking you might get even more than that. See how much more you can get at Lithia Ford of Boise.
When it comes to concrete, we've got you covered. Rowpaint.com offers custom concrete coating services for your garage, business, warehouse, and more. And we do it in one day. We are your complete concrete coatings solution.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Joining BJ Rains today is KTVB Sports Director Jay Tust. Check him out on Twitter at KTVB Sports Guy and make sure to check out KTVB.com. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Now here's Jay Tust and BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Welcome on in. It is Tuesday. It is Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament Week. We are looking forward to that on Friday. Hope you had a great 3-day weekend there over the weekend. I know Jay Tust did. Jay, you've been out and about. You're still joining us nicely while finishing up a family vacation, so we appreciate that. But hope looks like you had some fun, Jay. Hope everybody had a good weekend, and we're back at it this week, man.
Yeah, back in Boise tomorrow, actually today, I should say. I'm excited because, like you said, it is BNN Golf Tournament Weekend 2.0, second time around. First time was a lot of fun. Looking forward to this year's event, and as much as I don't want my vacation to end, that at least kind of helps, I guess, as I go back to Boise.
Well, we know what that means. We know it right here, 300 yards down the center of the fairway. Jay Tust letting it fly fairway at the Idaho. I didn't say which fairway, but yeah, there he is. Beautiful day last year. We're hoping for this year. Jay, we got you paired with the Atkinsons again this year. But people are commenting about the shirt. I went back and looked at some of the videos. There was a lot of commenting about the polo shirt here. Are you going to go same shirt again, or anything else that shows off the guns as well?
I'll leave that up to you. I can roll the same one out for sure.
Well, there were some people kind of thinking there was some funny business going on with the shirt there, that you were trying to show off the guns a little bit, but that was not a size medium shirt, correct?
That's just the way they fit, man.
Yeah. You had the top button too. You had and then Schultz obviously, three wood off the tee there.
I'm never gonna forgive him for that. Warning track power, because he doesn't. You use that, you don't have the. You don't even have the capability to leave the yard.
Is the center of the fairway good, Jay?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Going to be a lot of fun. We do have some spots available if you want to come hang out and have lunch. We are done probably selling the foursomes, barring a last-minute change. If you do have one at the last minute and one in, we can try to make it work. But I'm turning the list in today to Timberstone. But we do have some spots if you want to come and hang out, have lunch, and looking forward to it. I was talking to our friends at Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, and they are happy to know you're going to be back in your group, and they're excited to have you.
We pretty much have been hyping this since basketball season. Every time I'd see them, we'd joke around about it. So it should be a fun afternoon, I would say the least. Again,
Friday, June 2nd. That's this Friday at Timberstone. Fingers crossed on the weather. There's some small percentages, I guess, every day this week. So hopefully for Boise, Idaho, that means a quick 20-minute thing, or by tomorrow or later this afternoon. I'm sure it's going to change yet again. But we'll be on, rain or shine, on Friday. Looking forward to it. If you're in the tournament and you don't know exactly when your tee time is or how that's working with the morning and the afternoon, I'll be sending out an email later today with kind of the update and all that. So stay tuned. If you don't get the email today, reach back out and let me know.
What time do we tee off?
8:30.
8:30. Okay.
30 minutes earlier this year because we have the afternoon session as well. So we're going to get it going a little bit earlier, which means Timberstone, a little bit of a drive. You got to get up a little, get the coffee going a little earlier, Jay.
Early.
Rudy says Jay's tee shot would have been a home run, but Aaron Judge robbed it.
Oh, man. Judge had a game last night. We really thought about going. My wife's a Yankees fan. We've had such a busy week. We decided just to hang out here and make dinner and watch the game on TV. But, yeah, Judge dropped 2 bombs and robbed another. It was a pretty dominant effort there, BJ.
Well, but final thing I did want to say about the tournament, $50 if you want $20 in raffle tickets, you want a free lunch, you want to just come hang out, hear the Q&A with all the special guests. It's $50 to the Idaho Youth Sports Commission, and you can email me, rains@bronconationnews.com, and we'll get you set up on that. Fun show today. I haven't seen Twitter yet, Jay, this morning. Sometimes the Mountain West will tease stuff out. I know that tomorrow – the ESPN has already said that tomorrow they will be announcing their first 3 weeks of the TV schedule, as well as some of the bigger games throughout the season. That means usually it's a day before, a day after, right around the same time that CBS and Fox, the Mountain West kind of does their own announcement, usually one a day for CBS and Fox, which, I believe, there is a chance it maybe could come today at some point. But if we haven't seen any teasing, it's probably going to be tomorrow or later this week. But at worst, we'll find out the ESPN TV schedule tomorrow for the first 3 weeks, which means the Washington game will be included in that. So sometime tomorrow, Jay, at the latest, we will know the game time for Washington, and then potentially this week at some point we should probably Friday at about 11 o'clock when we're on hole 6 or whatever at the tournament. Fox and CBS will come out with theirs as well. But I know The Athletic did some projections. There's some other blogs out there that do projections. Any thought on the Washington game time? I saw some, the Athletic kind of put it as the 7:30 Eastern primetime ABC game, which would be a huge opportunity. I've seen somebody project, that the late night game, the 10:30 Eastern ESPN game, there's some different options there. But what do you think of the Washington game and what we're going to find out sometime tomorrow?
I feel like whether it be, East Coast prime time or West Coast prime time, that Washington Boise State game is going to fall on a pretty big stage. And with how highly touted Michael Penix and the Huskies will be this year, they're probably going to do a majority of the heavy lifting there, in all honesty. But Boise State's brand still holds up nationally, so it's going to be a very attractive week 1 option, and I expect that to be on a very big stage, BJ. And kind of being back home, I'm excited to come back at the end of August or beginning of September, whenever we do travel over here, and cover that game, because it's going to be awesome. It's going to require Boise State to come out guns a-blazing, be at their absolute best, and it kind of goes back to those days where they went a long ways away from home to play Georgia back in 2011, and nobody gave them a chance against the Bulldogs, and Boise State absolutely smacked them. So I can't necessarily predict that's going to happen on Montlake come September 2nd, but the opportunity is certainly there for Boise State to reestablish themselves as a power out west.
Yeah, I would suspect that game is going to be I think it's going to be one of the 2 time slots, the 7:30 Eastern or the 10:30 Eastern. I don't think you're going to get 2 West Coast teams playing a noon game or anything.
Right. I tweeted this long ago, BJ, and I know you're right there with me, but ever since last season wrapped up and the anticipation of Michael Penix Jr. returning, I don't know how many more matchups out there will be more exciting on week 1 than Michael Penix Jr. versus Taylen Green. There are few, if any, that will offer more intrigue and excitement than that matchup right there.
I would say maybe a little bit with the actual performances, yes, but in terms of the hype, I think Taylen Green is still a little bit underknown nationally.
Yeah.
So I mean, if this game were a year from now, I think Taylen Green would get more of the credit he deserves. But in terms of what he actually is going to show on the field, I would totally agree with you on that. I do want to talk about some of the other games, but I guess we'll stick with the ESPN. It's week 4, I think, so we may not find out. We may, but the Memphis game also is chance could be controlled by ESPN because the AAC has a deal with ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on the Memphis game, whether that would be a Friday night game maybe, or that could be – I could see that being a little earlier in the day potentially. I feel like I see Memphis play during the day a lot. I don't know, but what are your thoughts on the Memphis game?
Well, just to reiterate, none of the games will move in terms of order. They can slide a day or two, right? So kickoff time.
The weekends are set. The weekends are set, but they still could go Thursday, Friday, or I guess theoretically Sunday. For the first week of that weekend. Yes.
Right. So the order is set week is set, but they can slide days and obviously kickoff times. Real quick before we jump to Memphis, you think that North Dakota is going to be an afternoon game on the Blue?
Or I could potentially see that being moved to Friday night.
Yeah.
Just to get it over. Maybe it's a Friday night game because the next 2 Fridays, or I guess the next Friday, right, is a San Diego State game on a Friday the following week.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see them potentially, because it's North Dakota, maybe it's a chance for CBS Sports Network to get a game, or they may do a trade or something, or Fox Sports 1 needs a Friday night game and they're willing to take it even though it's North Dakota just because it's Boise State.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Boise State would love to get that game moved up to Friday because then they'd have the full week to prepare for the Friday game at San Diego State.
Yeah. So maybe that gets moved to Friday.
Or it would be a Saturday afternoon, yes.
At the very least, I do think it's a Saturday afternoon game because fans have kind of said they want one of those. And Boise State did it last year when they brought in an FCS team. It feels like it would be an opportunity to do it again this year when they bring in an FCS team. September 16th in Boise, Idaho would probably just be a phenomenal afternoon date, not too hot. You're probably looking at the upper 70s, maybe low 80s, somewhere in that range. It would be perfect. As far as Memphis goes, I feel like you're right there, man. Like whenever you see Memphis highlights on TV, it's almost always kind of in an afternoon game, right? So that game seems
could be
like
maybe an ABC kind of 2:30 game or something, or a noon game.
It seems like it could have the potential to be a little bit earlier in the day, which I'm sure again Boise State fans would embrace, despite the fact that it is going to be played in Memphis, Tennessee.
So I'm not sure if we'll get that again. That's actually week 4, and I think they're doing they called them early season games, which is I think first 3 weeks. So there's a chance when the AAC schedule comes out that Memphis game will be included. It might not. They might wait. But one that we will know tomorrow, and I think you briefly mentioned it, but the UCF game, the home opener. A lot of people wondering when that game's going to be. Dayton says I want a night game for UCF. Wouldn't even care if it was on Friday. I will say this: you're probably not. I would just guess. Not going to have a day game if UCF's traveling all the way, 6-hour flight or whatever it is from Orlando. I doubt they turn around and make them play at noon or something. So I would suspect that will be a night game. I don't know how late because I don't know if they want UCF playing a game at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time or whatever for TV ratings. But I could see that being one of those 7 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Mountain Time, Fox Sports 1. Home games. But we should get the UCF game in the next couple of days as well.
Yeah, it looks like UCF actually opens up on August 31st too. So a couple days before Boise State opens up. That's a Thursday night game. They host Kent State to start the season. So I was a little apprehensive about projecting a Friday kickoff, but I guess if they wanted to slide that, UCF would have ample time to rest up, travel across the country and recover. Boise State, though, playing on potentially a Saturday night, coming back home to turn around and play on a Friday night against a team that they really need a victory against. Let's face it, that UCF game is going to be as big as any on the schedule this coming season. I don't know if they move that to a Friday. That'll be interesting to see. I think more than anything, BJ, man, for me, it always comes down to that Black Friday game. I'm not a big fan of the Black Friday early kickoff games, man. I don't want to see that happen. I am cool. Right now it's scheduled Air Force on a Saturday here in Boise.
Doesn't that have 10 a.m. written all over it?
It does, but gosh, I hope not, because I'm kind of a little bit over those. I want everybody to be able to enjoy a holiday with their families.
At least it's a home game. At least it's a home game, and it's on Friday, so you can have Thanksgiving Thursday. Yeah. I will not be there at that game. I will be in Orlando at the basketball tournament, the ESPN Invitational. So we'll have it covered for Bronco Nation News, but I'll be watching. If that's a 10 a.m. game, at least that'll be noon in Florida. But I did see the Missouri-Arkansas game was set up for the same time, like 12, whatever time it is, where it sets up perfectly for a Mountain West game to lead into it. Mm-hmm. And I think the fact that CBS could have a game on the Blue and B, have Air Force in terms of the TV ratings and things that come with that. If you are a betting man, I think that is potentially possible. There would have to be a trade, obviously, because Fox does hold the rights. Who knows if Fox tries to do an early game or something? I don't know. Remember, there's an NFL game now on Black Friday, so that changes the way the pecking order, I guess, a little bit. Mm-hmm. I believe this is the case. Dayton's asking if CBS still has to carry 3 Mountain West games on Big Boy CBS. I don't think that's changed. That the contract's the same. So I believe that is the case, Dayton. So they usually do an Air Force home game or two if that's the case, and then but again they would have to do a trade because they don't have the right to the Boise State game. So maybe San Diego State Boise State, I don't know. But I guess that's the bigger thing maybe to look at to decide that, Jay, is CBS has to take 3 Mountain West games. I don't know if there's any Mountain West. Do any Mountain West teams have good home games? Is UCLA playing at San Diego State this year, I believe?
That's a good question. I have not dove into the depths of everyone's schedule yet. It's the one that concerns me the most.
Yeah, I want to say there's a UCLA at San Diego State in their second year of their new stadium this year. I could see CBS wanting a rare chance to get UCLA on there. But we'll people try to make plans. We try to book flights and all this stuff. And I guess finally in the next 36, 48 hours, Jay, we hopefully will have some answers to some of this.
Yeah. And by the way, yes, you are correct. That I was thinking about that because I remember reading a story about, wow, San Diego State got UCLA to come to them September 9th. That game will be played at San Diego State.
Just guessing that's probably one of the CBS games they take, and then Air Force, if they have a home game in the Commanders, Commander-in-Chief race, I could see that happening. But I think that you're probably onto something, unfortunately, with the Air Force game potentially being an early game on CBS. But I'm
going to try to just speak it into existence and hope it doesn't happen.
Well,
it's happened at least the last 2 years. The last 3 years?
Oh, there was a game at San Diego State where it was at the old it was
at San Diego 2 years ago.
They played in LA. I remember the game was 9 a.m. in California. I set my alarm for like 5:30 in the morning. I mean, you should never set an alarm ever to cover a football game on a Saturday, and to have to do it
before
the sun comes up at 5:30 in the morning in LA the day after Thanksgiving. That was something.
You said Saturday, but you meant Friday, which is
even
even more
Black Friday.
rare.
Yep, and it was right after Thanksgiving. I think I had Thanksgiving dinner at some place in LA somewhere. Yeah, let's not do that again. At least it's a home game this year. But again, that'll come out. ESPN has confirmed that tomorrow they'll have their stuff, and then CBS, Fox are usually day before, same day, day after. So I would say by Friday, you're pretty much guaranteed to get a lot of the TV information for the Boise State football team. I want to talk a little Taylen Green with Jay also. We talked about that Friday. Jay wasn't here, but I do want to thank a couple of our sponsors. Cutwater Spirits, more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. Pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. They'll be out offering free samples on hole 4 at the Bronco Nation News Golf Tournament. It's a tough par 5, Jay, kind of perfect. This, take a swig of a Cutwater right before you tee off there on hole 4. So they'll be out there hole 4, passing out all kinds of golf tees and things as well. So Cutwater Spirits, 2 for $7, 2 great offers there at your local gas station or grocery store. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. They're giving out golf balls. You get a sleeve of golf balls, really nice Strixon balls. We do have a whole dozen saved for Jay Tust for the front 9, probably some more for the back 9 as well. Rowpaint.com. Jay, you took your headphones off for a second. I said that they're providing the golf balls for the tournament. Everyone gets 3, but I've set aside a dozen for you, and that's just for the front 9. If you need another dozen for the back,
I'm going to need all those to get through, obviously,
BJ. ROEpaint.com for that concrete coating. It's free estimate, and again, 5 times stronger than epoxy, the one-day install. Check them out at rowpaint.com. Lithia Ford at Boise, the vehicle will also be there. Jay, you may need to call Camille to come pick up your vehicle because a hole-in-one, LithiaFordBoise.com, so Camille can come pick up the other vehicle, and then, Jay, you can drive the Bronco Sport home after you get the hole-in-one on Friday. LithiaFordBoise.com. View their full inventory of vehicles. Some great deals going on right now. Check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com. And our friends at Idaho Central Credit Union, they're providing golf gloves. All of our major sponsors stepped up and are involved in the golf tournament. We're very appreciative of that. ICCU.com. They'll be right there at hole 1, providing brand new golf gloves for the tournament. So ICCU.com. Check them out. More than 550,000 Idahoans have made the switch. You can too at Idaho Central Credit Union. And if you need some new Boise State gear, check out the Blue and Orange store. They got the latest sideline apparel, coaches gear, all that stuff. They are also providing, Jay's going to be taking home a lot of swag. He'll be getting the gift certificate, $100 to the Blue and Orange store, hole 18 for the longest drive competition. The only problem, Jay, is it's only a qualified drive if it's in the fairway. So
that will be a massive problem for me. I'm probably going to be disqualified.
You can let it fly. Hole 18, let it fly, and you can be eligible, and our celebrities are eligible this year, but you have to keep it in the fairway. The blueandorange.store.com. Check them out. Free shipping, any order over $40. And again, if you're in the area, just go to the second floor there, the Boise Town Square Mall. Jay, we missed you on Friday. You were enjoying some time, well-deserved time with the family, but we did a live broadcast from Lean Feast, and looking forward to that, continuing our partnership with them. But it was a lot of fun. We talked to their owner, Dave, But I was talking a little bit about Taylen Green myself, just to kind of wrap up the series, but also said that we would be touching on it with you as well. But Taylen Green, in my opinion, the biggest kind of storyline going into this season is what Taylen Green does as the first year, as the starter, working with Bush Hamden, his offense all off season from the start. Taylen Green knows he's QB1. And we spent, 20 shows the first 20 days of May there talking about different storylines and topics and things. But for me, Jay, there is no bigger storyline or topic going into the season than Taylen Green and his outlook.
Yeah, a lot of hype around him. If Boise State's going to have a special season and make, a run towards a Mountain West Conference championship, win 10-plus games, and who knows what beyond that, they need Taylen Green to be unbelievable this year. I mean, they really do. We saw glimpses of it last year. It is his team this year. He rolls into an entire offseason of being QB1 for the first time in his collegiate career. I can't wait to see what that means for him in terms of his involvement in the team, leadership, how much better he's going to know the offense. He is working with another new offensive coordinator in Bush Hamden, but it seems like they're on the right page. And I know that, Taylen was one of the first people that Bush Hamden reached out to after getting the job. And it's going to be interesting to see how their relationship builds. And, we got to see a little bit of it during spring ball, BJ, but as you know, spring ball just has a different vibe than fall camp. Not only does the intensity heighten, but you also start to really dive into your playbook, and you're focused on not just self-development, but really coming together as a team and learning those aspects of the game. So it'll be, I can't wait to see what it looks like in, the first full year of Taylen Green as a starter. And like I said, we saw glimpses and we were wild last year, and it was interesting how almost from game to game, he was a passer, he was a runner, he was back to being a runner, and then he was a passer again, so it's just going to be interesting to see the balance there moving forward.
Now, a couple of the preseason teams are starting to come out a little bit. We saw the Athlon one. They had Taylen Green as the second team.
Hey, BJ, what'd they do at running back there real quick?
We talked about that last week. Well, first of all, they added a third one as kind of a cop-out. I've never seen a preseason team with 3 first-team running backs. But they did put, as you predicted could happen, Ashton. I don't think I'm going out there on a limb, Jay, saying that whether it's deserved or not, it will not happen on the actual preseason team. I don't think the voters are going to give Boise State 2 first-team running backs. They're just going to pick one or the other. And maybe the fact that they pick one or the other, they cancel out, and there's enough where they still get the first 2. But I'm guessing that it's going to be who was the other one they had on there? Was it somebody from?
Honestly, I don't remember. Was it
was Wyoming?
Was
maybe?
it Morrow? Wyoming's guy?
Maybe not, because he left. It was Harrison Whaley from Wyoming.
Huh.
I believe he's a transfer coming in. But they had I would like to know this one too. Chavin Cordero, San Jose State. Like right now, if you put the number, like the end of the season, who's going to have better numbers? Wouldn't you? I mean, not to sound homerish or whatever, wouldn't you feel pretty confident Taylen Green's going to have a better season than Cordero?
I feel like that. I for the sake of voting on a preseason team, I completely get it, though. Cordero had a great year last year. Yeah. The dude has a ton of experience. He's got some weapons coming back on offense. He's got a great head coach. Brennan's an awesome guy. He is one of the more enjoyable guys to sit down with at Mountain West Media Days and chat with. Yeah, I get why that's the case. I know you probably do too. But I definitely think that Taylen Green will give him a run for his money at the end of the year.
Yeah, and I think every voter does it differently. Do you go based on past success? Who deserves it? Do you project, success for this season? But again, Athlon had him at number 2 or second team. Is that how you think it'll end up on the official preseason team? And I guess the bigger question is, can Taylen Green be not only the first team quarterback, but do you think Taylen Green has it in him to be the offensive player of the year in the Mountain West this year? Or is that asking a little too much?
No, I think that's definitely in play. I do think that the preseason Mountain West first team quarterback is going to be Cordero, though, down at Mountain West Media Days. It's a less risky pick. I'm not saying that Taylen is a risky pick. A guy that has a lot of experience like Cordero, probably going to set the Mountain West career passing touchdown record. By the time he's done, that's well within reach this year. Brett Rippon was pretty high on that list with 90. Somebody has passed him since. I can't remember who. 94, I believe, is the record. But it's probably going to be Cordero, and Taylen's going to have to track him down, which he definitely can do. I mean, look at what they return at wide receiver. Another reason why I think it's Cordero is just because, it comes down to it. You're going to look at like first team offense right on your ballot, and you're going to be like, well, I can't have 6 Boise State players. And that's just the way this goes, people. Like, it's just the way that it goes. So if you do vote for George Halani and Ashton Genty, it's going to be a little difficult to put Taylen Green in that top spot as well.
There are a couple things that you do when you go to do the preseason team, Jay. You're required to go just pick a random Air Force lineman. You go pick a random San Diego State, lineman. Usually a Wyoming running back or lineman. There's a couple of teams where because
San Diego State always has a lineman or two on there,
and Bob Beeler has said this, and I kind of agree with him. Like the coaches just pick the linemen. Like we're not studying these linemen.
Yeah.
At least the offensive line, we're not studying them nearly as much to go, oh, who's a better right guard? That guy from Air Force or that guy from Nevada? Like, the coaches can, or the SIDs kind of hype up the lists and do that. And we all know too. Also, did Taylen Green, was he honorable mention last year? He may not even be eligible based on the new rule, the way Boise State does their balloting.
Right. That's actually what I was going to say, because there are times where you think there's an obvious player to vote for, and they're not even on the ballot, right? Because Boise State does. There are teams out there that just throw anybody that could be remotely considered on that thing. Who was the tight end? I believe it was Colorado State's tight end last year.
Hadn't taken a snap in college?
Yeah, I don't even know if he didn't have a career catch, and he was on the ballot to be a tight end in consideration for preseason honors. And man, BG, now I'm really trying to think back, because I felt like he might have been like the only tight end up for consideration. Like
he was
where he almost had to win the vote, and you're like, wow, why not put anyone on there? But Riley Smith could have been in consideration, but he wasn't on the ballot. And the same goes for even like a guy like Steph Cobbs at punt returner. He didn't return, he fair caught a number of punts. He only returned one, which conveniently he housed 81 yards, and he wound up in consideration to be preseason all Mountain West punt returner last year. So it does work a little bit both ways. But
I don't see honorable mention listed. I don't see honorable mention listed here, Jay, on the official Mountain West release. Do they not do honorable mention for the official postseason teams?
They do.
Okay.
Maybe it's just not listed on there, but they do that.
Okay. Because according to this, the only guys that would be eligible for Boise State this year would be Schramm on defense, is the only eligible guy because he was second.
Defense
he was
could be pretty
team.
lean.
Defense
could be, DJ.
Cade Beresford was second team tackle. Halani was second team running back. You had and then guys that are coming back. That's it, because the only first teamer Boise State had last year was Ojukwu and Skinner, and they're both gone. So if Boise State sticks to their rules here, Jay, and maybe again I don't see the honorable mention list on here, but there may not be a lot of Boise State guys listed.
Right. Taylen was the freshman of the year in the Mountain West in 2022. Okay. He was also an honorable mention last year as well.
Yeah, I don't know why the official release would not put first and
there's just a lot of names, so it still feels like the official release from the conference would list all of the names, but maybe not, I guess.
Dennis says, all eyes on Taylen Green. Can't wait to see how this goes. Perry says, haven't been this excited about the offense in quite some time. High expectations.
I think that's fair to say.
And then, by the way, Dayton says, going back to the non-conference games, 2 big-time ones, Kansas at Nevada and Vanderbilt at UNLV. So maybe not too much appeal for CBS there for either of those.
Dayton's joking around this morning.
Yeah, he is. He'll be there Friday. He's playing. Dayton
Let's
will be
go.
there. Yeah, we got Dayton a spot. He'll be there in the afternoon. So looking forward to
tax questions.
Good. Well, he's actually excited that he's getting a small breather in tax season, so he's able to come participate in the tournament. Looking forward to that. So, Jay, appreciate your time. You brought the equipment with you, which was unnecessary, but we appreciate it. And glad we could make it work today. Enjoy the last couple of hours with your family.
Yep.
Safe travels back to Boise. You'll be helping me out in between sessions for the Q&A. We're going to get a couple thoughts from some of the celebrities that are in attendance. And by the way, I guess I can say this. Why not? Before we get out of here, I was informed of a late celebrity edition. When you get a call from Leon Rice and you say, "Can my friend play?" You find a spot for Leon Rice's friend, right? Larry Eustace will be participating in the tournament on Friday. He now lives in Boise. He has moved here within the last couple of years, retired from coaching, and I guess he was hanging out with Leon, and Leon told him about the tournament, and he was interested. So I did have to up my order of Diet Coke from the course for the tournament. But Larry Eustace, I guess around town here, do we call him the former Colorado State coach or the former Idaho coach?
Yeah. I mean, since I've lived in Boise, I've more known him as the former Colorado State
coach. Iowa State, I guess, as well.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
I mean, there might be a number of people listening or watching right now that would say Idaho, but I definitely kind of view him as Colorado State.
I was going to maybe try to find a way to get him and Johnny Ballgame in the same foursome, but I don't know if Johnny could handle that. I don't know if Larry could handle that. Well, hopefully a nice reception. I know he's a former Vandal, but hopefully a nice reception. One of the legendary college basketball coaches, Larry Eustace, added to our list of celebrities. So looking forward to that. And maybe I will let you present him with a Diet Coke or something up on stage, and we can ask him a couple of questions. We'll see. But Jay, appreciate it. Safe travels back. We will see you Friday at Timberstone bright and early. And as always, appreciate your time, sir.
All right, buddy.
There he is, Jay Tust. Appreciate him for jumping on. Have a great rest of your day. Again, a couple tickets left. If you want to come have lunch, listen to the Q&As. We'll give you some raffle tickets. It's going to be a lot of fun. So email me, rains@bronconationnews.com. We'll be back tomorrow. Johnny Ballgame's doing tomorrow's show, Prater on Thursday, and then the tournament on Friday. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Look for that TV info at some point on social media as well. Bronco Nation News, bronconationnews.com.